Adaora woke up before the sun rose. She lit her small reading lamp and pulled out her books. The house was quiet and the world still felt asleep, but her mind was wide awake. She had made a promise to herself she would win the school's academic competition. Her mornings were spent reviewing math problems. Her afternoons were filled with reading comprehension exercises, and her nights were dedicated to practicing essay writing. Olachi noticed her effort and decided to help her in every way she could. Adora, I got you some extra textbooks, she said one evening, placing a stack of books on the table. This will help you prepare. Thank you, Auntie Olachi, Adora said, excited. She hugged the books like they were treasures, because to her, they were. At school, Adora started asking more questions. Her teachers were impressed. You have improved so much, Adora, her math teacher, Mr. Shibweze, said. Keep this up, and you might just win the competition. Her classmates, who once whispered about her, now noticed her growth. Even Adana, her closest friend, said, Adora, you are so serious these days. I know you will do well. But not everyone was happy about her progress. Osita, the boy who doubted her before, laughed. You are wasting your time. People like you don't win competitions. Adora ignored him. She had no time for negativity. She had a dream to chase. A week before the competition, her tutor Ekene decided to give her a practice test. This will help you know how ready you are, he said. Adora sat at the table, holding her pet tightly. The questions were tough, but she tackled them one by one, remembering everything she had learned. When she finished, Ekene graded her work. He looked at the paper, then smiled. Adora, you scored 85%. That's excellent. Adora's heart swelled with joy. She was ready. She had worked so hard, sacrificed her sleep, ignored the whispers, and pushed through her doubts. The real competition was just a few days away. Would she win? She didn't know. But one thing was certain, she would give it her all. The day finally arrived. Adora stood at the entrance of the school hall, her heart pounding like a talking drum. Rows of seats were arranged neatly, and a large banner hung above the stage. Annual school academic competition. Who will be the best? Students whispered excitedly. Teachers walked around preparing the stage, and the air buzzed with nervous energy. Adora, you will do great, Adana whispered beside her. Adora nodded, gripping her notebook tightly. She had worked too hard to be afraid now. The headmistress, Madashinwe, stepped onto the stage. Welcome to this year's competition, she announced. The rules are simple. There will be 3 rounds: mathematics, English, and general knowledge. The students with the highest at the end wins the grand prize, a full scholarship for further studies. Adora took a deep breath. This was her chance. The first round began. Round 1 was mathematics. The questions appeared on the large blackboard. The students quickly scribbled their answers. Adora's hands were steady as she walked through the problems. When the teacher called out the answers, her heart leaped. She got every question right. She glanced at Osita. He frowned. 1 round down, 2 to go. Round 2, English. Adora read the comprehension passage carefully, answering each question with confidence. Then came the spelling test. Adora closed her eyes for a moment, remembering Olachi's lessons. She took a deep breath and spelled the word correctly. More words followed. One by one, the students were eliminated. By the end of the round, only 3 students remained. Adora was one of them. The final round, general knowledge. This was the hardest round. The judge asked, who wrote Things Fall Apart? Ashebe Chinua, Osita blurted. The crowd laughed. The judge shook his head. It's Chinua Achebe. That is incorrect. Adara smiled. She knew the right answer. She answered more questions about Nigeria's independence, famous African leaders, and science. Each correct answer brought her closer to her victory. Then came the final question. Silence filled the hall. Osita scratched his head. The other student bit her lip. Adora's heart raced. She knew this. She stepped forward and gave her answer. The room went quiet and then applause. "You are correct," the judge announced. "Victory." Madam Shinwe smiled. "Ladies and gentlemen, our winner is Adaora." Tears filled Adora's eyes. She had done it. She saw Olachi clapping proudly, Adana jumping with joy, and even her teachers nodding in approval. Adora covered her mouth in shock. She had won. Tears filled her eyes as she stepped forward to receive her certificate and grand prize, a full scholarship for her future studies. The judge handed her a golden trophy, and when she held it in her hands, it felt like she was holding her dream. "You did it, my dear," Olachi said, rushing forward to hug her. "I knew you would." Adana grabbed her shoulders, shaking her playfully. "Adora, you are a star. I'm so proud of you." Even her teachers beamed with joy. Mr. Shibueze, her maths teacher, patted her on the back. "This is just the beginning, Adora. Keep shining." But the sweetest moment came when Osita, the boy who adopted her, walked up to her. His usual laugh was gone. Instead, he looked at her with something close to respect. "I didn't think you would win," he admitted, rubbing the back of his head. "But you proved me wrong. Congratulations." Adora smiled. "Thank you, Osita." When they returned home, Olachi had a surprise waiting. The moment Adora stepped inside, she was shocked. The small living room was decorated with balloons and ribbons. On the table was a large cake with the words, "Congratulations, Adora," written in bright icing. Olachi placed her hands on Adora's shoulders. "This is all for you, my dear. You have worked so hard. You deserve to be celebrated." Tears of joy ran down Adora's cheeks. She had never had a celebration in her honor before. As they ate, laughed, and danced, Adora realized something. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly happy. She had fought through pain, doubts, and hardship, and now she was a winner. The days after Adora's victory felt like a dream. She had never received so much attention before. Everywhere she went in school, students whispered her name. Some younger ones even looked at her with admiration. But the biggest surprise came one afternoon when Madam Shinwe, the headmistress, called her into her office. Adora's heart pounded. Had she done something wrong? When she stepped inside, she saw a well-dressed man sitting across from Madam Shinwe. He wore a fine agbada and glasses that made him look very important. "Adora," Madam Shinwe said with a smile, "meet Chief Ozo, one of the biggest sponsors of education in Nigeria. He heard about your victory and wanted to meet you." Adora's eyes widened. Someone important came just to see her. Chief Ozo studied her with interest. "So you are the young girl who won the competition," he said in a deep voice. "I read about you in the papers." "Newspapers?" Adora almost fainted. Was her story really in the news? "You have great potentials," Chief Ozo continued, "and I like to support students who work hard, no matter their background." Adora blinked, unsure of what to say. He smiled. That is why I've decided to sponsor you for an exclusive scholarship program in Abuja. It is a leadership and academic training for the best students in Nigeria. If you do well, bigger doors will open for you." Adora's heart nearly bursted. A scholarship in Abuja, a chance to study with the best students in Nigeria. She looked at Madam Chinwe. "Are you serious, sir?" Adora stammered. Chief also chuckled. "I never joke about education, my dear. You have earned this." That night, Adora couldn't sleep. She sat by the window staring at the stars. Abuja, a new world, far from everything she had ever known. Will she be able to survive? Will she fit in? But then she remembered all the struggles she has faced. She had overcome pain, doubt, and mockery. She had won against all odds. And now, fate was giving her another chance to rise even higher. A smile formed on her lips. She would go. This was her destiny, and she was ready for it. The days that followed were filled with excitement, but also a little fear. Adora had never traveled far from home before. Abuja felt like another world. Olashi sat her down one evening, her eyes filled with pride. Adora, this is a big opportunity. Not many girls from our background get a chance like this. I know, Adora whispered, but what if I don't fit in? What if I fail? Olashi smiled and gently took her hands. You once thought you couldn't win the competition, but you did. Trust yourself, my dear. You are stronger than you think. Adora nodded slowly. She would not let fear stop her. Olashi made sure Adora had everything she needed. She bought new clothes, a strong and durable school bag, and even a pair of shoes, something Adora had never owned before. When they went to the market, traders greeted Adora with smiles. Adora the genius, a woman teased. Make sure you bring back plenty of wisdom from Abuja. Even Madam Chinwe gave her a special set of notebooks and pens. Use this to write down all the great things you will learn. Before leaving, Adora asked Olashi if she could visit Auntie Ifoma's house one last time. She stood outside Auntie Ifoma's house, staring at the place where she had suffered so much. Auntie Ifoma peeped through the window, but did not come outside. She knew she had lost all power over Adora. Adora took a deep breath and turned away. She had no reason to hate anymore. Her future was far too bright to waste time on the past. Instead, she went to see Mama Ebere, the kind old woman who had sometimes sneaked food to her when Auntie Ifoma starved her. My child, Mama Ebere said, touching Adora's forehead, you've been through fire, but look at you now. God is lifting you higher. Adora smiled. Yes, she was rising. The night before her trip, Adora could barely sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. She thought about everything she had faced, the suffering, the loneliness, the struggle to prove herself. And now she was stepping into a whole new world. A world where she could truly become somebody. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent prayer. By morning, she was ready. Her bags were packed, her heart was strong, and her dreams were brighter than ever. She was going to Abuja, and nothing would ever be the same again. The journey to Abuja felt like a dream. Adora had never been in a car for so long, and everything outside the window looked different from what she had known. The roads were wider, and the buildings taller, and the people busier. When the car finally stopped in front of the scholarship center, Adora's heart pounded. The gates were massive, and the compound was bigger than any school she had ever seen. Was this really her new school? Chief also smiled at her. Welcome to your new world, Adora. Adora swallowed hard and stepped out of the car, gripping the straps of her bag. As she walked in, she saw students everywhere, some reading other trees, others chatting in small groups. They all looked so smart, so confident. Adora felt small. Would she be able to keep up? Ah, the new student, a tall woman in neatly pressed suit, approached. I am Mrs. Okonkwo, the program coordinator. We have been expecting you, Adora. She led Adora to a ground hall where other scholarship students were gathered. Adora noticed that most of them spoke in polished English and wore expensive wristwatches and shoes. For a moment, insecurity crept into her heart. Would they laugh at her? Would they look down on her? And then she remembered Olashi's words, you are stronger than you think. She straightened her shoulders and took a deep breath. She was here for a reason, and she was going to prove she belonged. As she was settling into her room, a girl knocked on the door. Hello, I'm Nena. You are Adora, right? Adora nodded shyly. I read about you in the newspapers, Nena said, grinning. You are famous. Adora's eyes widened. You did? Yes, your victory is inspiring. I can't wait to see what you will achieve here. Adora smiled. For the first time that day, maybe Abuja wouldn't be so bad after all. That night, as she lay on her soft new bed, she thought about everything she has been through. Her struggles, her pains, her victory. From being an abandoned girl treated like a slave, she was now in a prestigious school, surrounded by opportunity. She tossed the necklace Olashi has given her before she left and whispered, I won't waste this chance. I will make you proud. And with that, she closed her eyes, ready to embrace the future.